disrupting and creating events that affect the entire verse was the only way she theorized to decimate her source wall curse, and so she whispered madness to her child, the Anti-Monitor, driving him towards his revenge on his brother, the Monitor.
So, what's up guys? It's been a minute, but I'm back recording some extra shit, and this time I've got some really weird stuff for you, but this time around we're focusing on Aurelion Sol. Because last time I had a few questions about like who could potentially be throwing down with my boy Rise, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go real hard and I'm gonna find some real wacky characters. So this time we're standing around with the Starforger, and the Starforger himself is one of those characters that is just beyond like everything that's like before him. So even in his base description, as you can see here, he forms stars. He's literally named the Starforger, and you can see that he's just literally carrying stars in his hands, and his body even seems to be made up of constellations. Now you might be thinking like, okay, well, you know, that's just kind of like imagery, right? Right, we'll get to that later. So Aurelion Sol is an ancient being who is from the first breath of creation. He is from a pristine celestial realm that is incalculable in its like understanding. So to give you an idea of the beings that exist out in this celestial realm, we have other aspects which are literally concepts that have to have avatars in the like in the physical plane, but they are beyond like all space and time. This pristine realm is one of the higher scaling realms that exist in League's lore. These guys kind of exist to fight off the Void, which would be the only other faction that would be somewhat comparable to either one of these foes here. But he actually kind of like looks down at those concepts, those aspects that exist out there, as if they contribute little to existence. He was surprised when he actually came across something in reality that he himself had not created. He was actually given his name by the Targonians, referring to the light that Aurelion Sol gave them by creating their local star. Celestial realms, most likely the pristine one he was used from, is the level of magic it takes in order to kind of like create a crown to pacify and control Aurelion Sol. He was basically tricked into putting on this really crazy crown from those aspects, and man, the crown itself is described as an unimaginable power, even for like Aurelion Sol. However, he does survive this, and he's like tortured by the aspects for kind of like an unquantified amount of time. So his power is used to empower ascended beings with the power of the sun disk. Aurelion Sol also maintains the cosmos without the aid of the firmament, or like the framework of existence, in case it falters. It appears his capture takes place over eras, kind of like what I said, like entire eras. So I think here they reference the Rune Wars, obviously like all the Ascendant being raised back up or created in the first place, as well as like Aatrox's entire existence. However, even as crazy as fuck as this OD crown was that was clamped on him, it started to be warped by Aurelion Sol's magic over time. Aurelion Sol is considered affecting the cosmic balance of existence. Now moving on to his secondary story, Twin Dawns, we also get some more pretty crazy shit, but this mainly takes place during his captivity for the aspects. Aurelion Sol can illuminate entire planets with his aura. He claims to be superior to gods, demons, monsters, prophets, and even comets. He's considered a being of luck by those who view him. Beings on planets use his magic to ascend beings into demigods. These beings are often the most powerful characters on Runeterra, like Gnosis or Renekton, or at least some of the most powerful characters. Aurelion Sol looks at time differently, since he is effectively immortal, an entire civilization's fault to Sol. And just to think about it earlier, kind of like what I said, he's from a place outside of space and time, so it's pretty safe to say that he is like 5D in nature. So yeah, he's outside of concepts like time. So Sol looks at the evolution of the smartest minds across the face of the planet as foolish and simple in nature. He is beyond what like Runeterra has to offer, for sure. And we'll get a little bit more into like his run-ins with other people in a minute. So Sol, during his enslavement, moved towards a variety of worlds across the cosmos, confirming life on multiple worlds, as well as aspects influence on multiple worlds, but more so specifically that he is creating life inadvertently all across the cosmos, because most of that life is only showing up as a result of his stars. This crown compels Sol to listen to the aspects. It allows him them to forcibly communicate with him telepathically to demand things of him. The Targonians are using Aurelion Sol to seal up void portals in our existence across the cosmos. This power is seen as beyond the aspects. Like, the aspects cannot seal these portals whatsoever. And like I said earlier, the void beings are one of the more powerful factions in verse. And that's even something that, like, deep down, even Aurelion Sol is a little bit, like, worried about what could potentially be on the other side, what's creating these void holes. But the fact that he's able to seal them is pretty wacky. So he terrifies the aspect of war itself simply by talking to it and breaking the mind hacks of that crown. And we get confirmation here that it's 100% without his influence, these worlds are lost to the void. These void beings, man, can tear through the firmament of reality or time-space to get into our verse. Void beings are nothingness given form, and see Aurelion as the ultimate opposition as he is the creator. So the ultimate opposition to what their goal is, given that he is creator. He can seal void portals that are distortions in reality, considered pulsating wounds on reality with his magic. The void is another realm entirely, and admits tearing reality as solid scaling. Yeah, Aurelion Sol really doesn't like the aspects. He considers them lacking imagination and logic. He doesn't take shit from anyone he ever comes across, which is, like, super hilarious. Like, he doesn't care if you're extra dimensional or not. He'll be like, okay, I'll just one-shot you. Like, I ain't got time for this. So in this scene, he literally creates a star using basic elements from the planet's atmosphere. And then along with the other stars that are always orbiting him, keep that in mind, that's super important. He always has 3 stars always orbiting him. And we'll get more into that later. He basically just becomes a moving constellation of destruction. He can conjure eddies of stardust that are so hot it bends curvatures of planets permanently and distorts it forever. His flames can burn away gravity and create new colors. He also controls how hot his created stars get, and nothing remains when he is done. The descriptive features here are just too OG, man. So in his attempt to close this void portal that's on this planet, he goes a little too ham and, like, accidentally blows up in a nearby aspect, just kills a nearby aspect. So, triggered at him for killing an aspect, they literally destroy stars in the sky as punishment. Now, this isn't something that, like, hurts him or anything, like, physically. However, he kind of looks at stars as, like, his children. He looks at stars as, like, a certain aspect of love, and he's, like, connected them in that way. But he does know whenever they're gone. Like, he feels them disappear. And he also seems to have some level of cosmic awareness, already know who would be chosen for the next aspect that existed out there, despite, like, already being on his way to another planet. He just knew, like, inherently who it was, like, even down to the gender. Even aspects of Targon fear the awesome might of Aurelion Sol, dude. He literally inspired fear amongst the entire pantheon. In Call of the Mountain, we see just how massive, like, Aurelion Sol can be, being larger than the entire, like, mountain of Targon itself. In the next cinematic, the Star Forger, he's seen toying with entire constellations of stars in the sky and being the collective of stars in the entire sky. So getting into the just interactions that Aurelion Sol has on the rift itself, we get into some very funny things, and we'll get into the funny comments a little bit more hardcore later. But getting down to, like, the outright scaling of it, He's implied he's committed mass extinction events multiple times. He looks down on all earthly dragons, like 100%. He is immortal even if you destroy his form. He is a permanent like figure within the cosmology. No matter what you do, he is like permanence regardless. More of that like 5D scaling for that action. Aurelion Sol looks at Runeterran mages. This would include my boy Rise, keep that in mind, as infinites trying to understand reality. He looks at the concept of the immortality of demigods as infinitesimal as to his own. He has a better like awareness than Bard, and also is aware of other dimensions, like outside of just this one, or maybe Bard is from the same celestial dimension that he is from. Looks at Echo's time travel as trivial at best. Apparently knows of the true god that Alawi beckons to, Nakakaboros, or whatever her name is. Thinks she's like a lame third-rate ripoff. Looks at ascended beings as borderline pets because they were kind of created from his power. And like I said earlier, he even looks down on my boy Rise, unfortunately, dude. His magic supersedes the world runes, as his magic is beyond words, and like that is true magic. Another boundless universe statement implying he's created an infinite amount of stars. Claims if untethered from his crown, he could destroy Targon itself with his power. Entire galaxies were born from Aurelion. He looks at Zillion's time manipulation as cute. He claims that the heavens diminish without his attention. He claims to have destroyed galaxies. He laughs when he says all the world, whenever another person says all the world on one arrow. And he claims that he holds all the galaxies in one palm. Big if true on that one, boys. Casual galaxy level strength in one arm. Think about it. So, getting into his Runeterra card art and lore, we have him saying some stuff about how everyone on Runeterra is just absolutely like just nothing to him, man. He doesn't care about anything, like, and that's fair. That's like everything that we've come across so far. So, fair warning here, guys. Possible wank, check it. He quite literally is telling the person illustrating him, I don't care what you write about me, you middling creature. Just make sure I'm described as handsome and magnificent. Also very, very intelligent. Can you spell that? He's really making fun of 6-4 vodka here. So on the card Star Shaping, we also, which is a spell card, we also have him referring to looking to the stars. And if you're lucky, I'll look back, implying he can potentially see anything that his stars witness. In his champion spotlight, we get like the general basics of his abilities. Now keep in mind, obviously his chit has changed over time, so I'm just covering what like they've already pre-established. So his passive ability can create stars to, or causes the stars to orbit him, those 3 ones I was talking about earlier, and strike any foes who come nearby him, because he just has an orbit, like they just orbit him. That's how big he is. And Aurelion Sol can control those stars that surround himself by speeding them up or slowing them down if he wants, as well as increasing their size. Aurelion Sol can fire the cores of newborn stars at foes, and even increase the duration of increase its size until he sees fit. Then explode the star at will, stunning anybody who experiences the event. Aurelion Sol's, much like in his lore, can fly across the entire cosmos, and it is also a part of his kit. His E is literally a reference to escape velocity, or the force required to leave our planet's gravitational pull. Aurelion's ultimate ability, Voice of Light, causes Aurelion to spew forth a line of pure destructive starfire from his mouth, destroying everything in its path. We also get a weird ability about him being able to engage light years away. So, I mean, think about that. That last one might be a little bit meme. So, before we finish up with our final assessment, Aurelion Sol also just has some really stupid ass quotes that I think are just hilarious. So this guy's based on David Bowie, and he's made to be like super pretentious and like super scummy, right? So he just has some hilarious quotes I'd like to go over. So if you kill somebody with a star, he literally just says the stars weep for you. Just kidding, I already forgot. He gets a pentakill, and he's like, that'll keep him talking for a century. He just like, I mean, just look at some of these, man. This shit is just like too hilarious, dude. Just like casual, like mass extinction. Hats are always fashionable. H's. These things have been around for centuries tops. Like, this shit is just too funny, man. I'm telling you, these just are like comedy. Magic tattoos. Where did you get those? Magic prison. Oh wait. Like, he's downplaying, or he's shit talking about boy Rise here, but it's like, I mean, he does have the ability to ruin prison. So I just thought a few of these were like absolutely funny. So like, he even refers to some of the aspects of Targon as like sparks masquerading as lightning. It's pretty funny. He looks at Tarek and says, "You're an aspect, let me guess, of tackiness." He looks at Tryndamere and just says, "Galaxies exist by my will, but oh, that's a cute sword." Like, I'm telling you, man, he's just so damn funny in terms of what some of the stuff he says in game. I think that's like something I can't drive home enough. That being said, guys, Aurelion Sol is a terror within verse. It took the collective force of all the conceptual entities to team up to create a crown powerful enough to control this character. A guy who comes from a dimension that bare minimum exists in a 5D plane outside of all time and space. And his goal is, being from the first breath of creation, is to create. And so he's a creator god. He essentially exists as a comet that flies throughout all of existence to any mortals who witness him. And to the gods who do manage to control him, seal up void portals to another extra dimensional group of beings that are considered too powerful for conceptual entities to fight. But with that being said, that was Aurelion Sol, boys. Give me a like and subscribe. Check out the coffee shop content creators down low. And we'll see you next time for the next vid, boys. Later.